My position on the fracking thing is, it's actually, there's two parts to this thing I think we need to look at with fracking. Everybody knew that question was coming, and everybody knows what's going on with fracking. Fracking is, it's scary. It's a scary opportunity, but I say it that way because Ohio has a lot of natural resources, and a big part of that is our shale and the natural gas that's beneath our shale reserves. And the process of hydraulic fracturing has been under a lot of scrutiny because, frankly, I believe that there's not enough disclosure, and I don't believe that we know for sure whether it can be done safely. And I think what we need to do, I believe that we need to wait for the EPA study that should be coming that will show us if fracking can be done safely, where and when, and if it can, then I think we need to move forward because there are jobs and there is energy independence that goes along with being able to tap into our natural gas reserves. However, the way we do it in Ohio now, I believe we can benefit more than we are from this natural gas if we are indeed going to move forward after a study is done. There's a tax that can be done, assessment tax. Ohio currently, I believe, is 25th out of 35 states that levy tax on these companies who drill. If we were able to raise that tax up to simply 5%, which would be competitive to states like Michigan, West Virginia, then we could raise $500 million over 4 years. And I think we're going to need to raise money. People aren't going to leave Ohio. They're not going to stop drilling in Ohio. It's going to be done safely just because of the tax. We can solve some of the economic problems that are associated with this. We're going to have issues related to our infrastructure. There's going to be work need to be done as a result of this process. I think we need to look at it, though, as not only is it something we need to make sure it's done right, and we need to make sure it's done safely with full disclosure, but if we find that we can do it and we decide to move forward, we need to make sure that we don't give away our natural resources and that we're able to benefit from the natural resources that they're going to take out of Ohio.
I'm going to read the question again. I think it's a little complicated so that everybody sees what's involved. What is your position on the hydraulic fracturing method of natural gas extraction and why? How would you vote when pressured by unions on allowing this process to be used on public lands and beneath Lake Erie?
I would, no matter what pressure or where the pressure is coming from, union or party or otherwise. And first of all, I want to add that I think our Democratic Party in Columbus has largely failed us on environmental issues, actually with the exception of people like Senator Skindell. I think we have a Democratic Party that really, unfortunately, has dropped the ball on environmental issues and in ways that really have no real political costs. I think we need more active environmental leadership, and I would unequivocally vote to oppose fracking, particularly as it has been exempted. In 2005, it was federally exempted under the Bush administration from compliance with Safe Drinking Water Act standards. I would vote to impose a moratorium until it is subjected to those standards. Moreover, I would push to increase the severance tax, as Todd was talking about, to much higher levels, so that we have funding to at least allow communities to recoup some of the losses. You know, they are going to be basically raped and ruined for a while, and they'll profit from it in short term. But in the long term, we're going to have communities that are left that are going to be left as ghost towns. So I think if we have the higher severance tax, we can help offset that. We can help put that funding into areas that we really need it, like school funding, and help fund some other environmentally beneficial programs. So that would be what I would put forward on fracking.
Yeah, I want to get my no on under Lake Erie, and I really haven't. I've spoken with a lot of union people, and AFL-CIO asked me that question, and Teamsters asked me that question, and they didn't really seem like they were interested in pushing fracking to go forward, because I think not just because they're environmentalists necessarily, but I don't think that the fracking, the business and the industry and the wealth that's being received out of fracking is really coming to labor unions at all. So I don't think there's any pressure. And if there were pressure, I vote my conscience. My union is probably going to be upset with some of the things that I said, but I don't answer to my union or anybody else's union. I just answer to my constituents.
And next, do you agree with the state legislature's recent emphasis on women's health issues while doing little concerning jobs programs?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with the state legislature's recent efforts. I guess if we're making sure we understand what the question is driving at, if we understand what the question is driving at, I think they're talking about the assault on women's reproductive health, and certainly that does nothing to confront the issues that really matter to this district. The issues such as job creation and economic growth. This is just another example of that radicalism of the Republican Party under John Kasich, and why we need to get someone in there active who can stop them.
Yep, easy one. Obviously, Republican, their tricks, right? They want to divide us. Like stand on this side if you're pro-life, stand on this side if you're pro-choice. That I don't ever want to say that what women's reproductive rights and privacy rights. And I find it so ironic that the party that wants government out of our business wants the government in a woman's doctor's office with her. And I think it's just it's disgraceful, but we knew that it was coming because that's their Hail Mary. And when they got nothing else to do, then they throw up their Hail Mary and they start talking about gays, guns, and God, and they hope that somehow they're going to divide us, but they're not going to do it. And Andy and I do the same thing. If you want to talk about those social issues, you can talk to them, in the privacy of your own home, but I'm not going to get dragged into it, and I don't think we need our legislators getting dragged into it either. We need to focus on the issues that are important to Ohioans.
Hot off the presses. Todd, what, if anything, would you support to benefit our veterans? What has Nan Baker's record been on veterans issues?
Well, I believe that I'm in the Navy Reserve right now, and when I go to my drill weekend, and somehow they keep putting them closer together, I got to go again next month. I think the Republicans are making my drill schedule. But they're getting me out. When I go to the Reserve Center, one of the things that my job is to do the indoctrination class. And what I've seen is that most of the people that I see coming into the Navy, and especially in the Reserve, that $300 that they make on that drill weekend is a good portion of the money that they earn for the whole month. I have a good friend of mine who lost his house. The Navy is like a big part of his income. We have about 20% unemployment for our vets returning. And I think Nan has done, I'll give her credit because she deserves credit where credit's due. She has been a leader. She has been at least on board with offering tax credits to businesses that hire veterans, but I think we need to do a little bit more than a tax credit. I think we need to do whatever it takes to get education benefits and job benefits to our veterans, especially those that are returning from war, because they served, and obviously I would be a big advocate for our veterans, and I think we need to make sure that our VA hospitals are funded, and I think we need to make sure that the families of our veterans are taken care of while their loved ones are serving. So I would be a strong advocate for veterans' rights in Columbus.
I would certainly be a strong advocate as well. Actually, I have a good friend who works with the VA, and he suggests that we need some better outreach. Certainly in the district, there's apparently not that many people receiving VA benefits. I think the more we can kind of make sure that people who are eligible know that that service is out there, the better, because there's a lot of there's certainly no shortage of members of the of veterans who are eligible for these services, and I think we should make sure that they understand that that service is out there for them.
Andy, are you for or against Governor Kasich's Jobs Ohio plan? Why or why not?
I'm against it because I think it's an indication of the lack of planning of the Kasich administration. You know, I talked earlier about biomedical research and technology, green jobs. These are growth sectors of the new economy. You look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics and other reports. These fields are related fields. They're all trending upward over the next decade. They're going to get more and more prominent, and they're fields that we're already strong in right now. It makes sense from a government perspective to look to what we do well as a region and as a district. And across the state, you look what your region does well in. You look to see particularly if it's an upward trending area, and you look to incentivize that. Jobs Ohio, I think, is kind of a race to the bottom. It's a corporate giveaway without much sense of planning or strategy behind it. I think we need more strategy. We need more planning. We need more leadership, and we need to do it smartly. And I don't think that's being done right now.
I'm not a fan of Jobs Ohio or the governor's agenda. I think that Jobs Ohio is just another example of the governor trying to give away the state's resources and state assets without any transparency, without any regulation, without any accountability. And frankly, I don't really know what the heck Jobs Ohio is doing, and I don't think anybody knows except John Kasich and his buddies in Columbus. I think we need to start by putting together some kind of an oversight panel, because there's a lot of money, there's a lot of jobs in Ohio that need to be filled and need to be created. And I don't believe that giving this money away is going to make it happen. I heard it was this morning, he wants to privatize the turnpike. So what did they do? They gave somebody a contract for $5 million to investigate whether or not you could privatize the turnpike. I'd like to get that contract. You know? I mean, but that's the way they operate. If we want to get jobs, there are jobs in the state. As a career technical education teacher, I speak with business leaders all over this county, in this city. I've been to Highland Software, Lincoln Electric, Middle Steel. They pollute too much, but that's another issue. But I know, and what I hear from businesses when I'm talking to them is they say, we have jobs, we need trained workers. We need to do a better job of making sure that our kids are college and career ready before we send them out into the workplace. And the way we do that is not by investing in Jobs Ohio or giving the money away to Kasich's buddies. We do that by investing in our children and investing in our schools so that our kids have the skills, both the soft skills and the technical skills, to fill the jobs that will be created as the economy recovers.
Hey, Todd, why should swing voters in the general election vote for you if you both have no policy-making experience?
Well, I was going to say my look, but no, my humor. I think that swing voters will vote for me because I think that people can relate to me a little bit. I thank John Kasich every morning that he overreached so that a teacher from Westlake could actually have a chance to go to the legislature. People understand that government works for everybody. It doesn't just work for lawyers. It doesn't just work for business owners, though I love both of them. We need them. But a regular working class kid who grew up on government assistance in a single family home and worked hard and fought for what he believed in and served his country and just wants to do good by his family and by his community, has a chance to lead. I've been in leadership positions my whole life, whether it's been in the Navy or as a teacher. And when I talk to people, I listen. And there aren't too many people listening these days. So I find that when I meet people, once they know you listen, you may not have all the answers, but if you listen, you'll get their support, because that's all that people want, is somebody who's willing to listen.
Yeah, well, I think we need a candidate that can appeal to the district's desire for change. Nobody can represent that better than me. I have had experience in the past through my positions both publicly and privately. I haven't held elective office before, but I have had important policy results, such as the comprehensive plea agreements I was describing earlier, or in representing struggling homeowners caught up in the foreclosure crisis. So I think I have a lot of understanding for the types of policy matters that we're going to be dealing with in the state legislature. Ultimately, like I said, I think we need a candidate that can appeal to the district's desire for change, and a candidate that can make those personal, as Todd was saying, connection. Listen, I can do it as no other candidate can do it. I have a record of both as a volunteer earlier and as a candidate myself in knocking on an unprecedented number of doors, on making those phone calls. And that's how it's going to be done, through person-to-person contact, using that quiver, quiver of issues that Nan Baker and the Kasich administration have been kind enough to deliver up to us on a whole host of issues, on a whole host of radicalism. You name the issue, and they've done a good job of offending the constituency that's related to that issue. So I think it's important that the candidate take that entire arrow, take that entire quiver, rather, and take that with them in going door to door and in going phone call to phone call and letting people know what Nan Baker has really been up to in Columbus and what I would do instead in Columbus. That's how I would appeal to swing voters.